the use of nuclear techniques to be able to assess the quantity of underground water. And when this assessment is done, the country is better able to plan for the water usage. As we know, water is significantly important for our daily use. So it's important for the country to be able to plan ahead and be able to understand the amount of water underground and therefore plan for it. The figure that is below shows a technique that is called non-destructive testing that is currently used by the Kenya Bureau of Standards to be able to understand the elemental, the composition of various elements. For example, if we have a leakage in the oil pipeline between Mombasa and Kisumu, Kenya Bureau of Standards will use non-destructive testing to be able to assess where that crack could be and be able to repair it without damaging the pipeline. So there are various uses in Kenya, and we want to enhance this usage by introducing nuclear power. So nuclear energy is also very efficient in land use. And here I want to demonstrate okay. Sound, please. Excuse me. Sound. So this, the picture before you demonstrates the efficient energy use of nuclear energy. If we want to invest in a 1 gigawatt nuclear power plant, which is about 1,000 megawatts, we require about 81.5 acres to be able to do this investment. The comparison for solar and wind is on the screen. For solar would require 100 times more, and that is about 8,152 acres of land. For wind, it is even more significant. It's about 500 times more. As you can see, it's about 40,760 acres just for 1 gigawatt of electricity. And this is not to say that this investment should not be done. Nuclear is actually a complement to solar and wind because we have to be able to harness these energy resources as well. But there must be a good balance between the technologies so that we are able to efficiently use the land which has got very many competing uses. So I want to discuss nuclear benefits at the macro level, and the first one is energy security. We need our energy to be secure. We need baseload electricity to be able to power our industries 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. And nuclear presents the opportunity to do that because nuclear has an availability factor of 99% availability. And therefore it means that we shall be able to secure the energy that we need for our operations. Nuclear program also presents a high upgrade of our industries because the nuclear technology requires very high levels and standards to be brought in. So when we make an investment in nuclear, we will have to upgrade our industrial production to be able to meet the international standards required for input into our nuclear power plants. And this will enhance the quality of supply from our industries because there are no shortcuts in nuclear. We must be able to meet the global standards at all times. At the macro level again, we shall be able to enjoy lower electricity prices. And what is this? A nuclear power plant is currently designed to operate for about 60 years. With a life extension potential of another 20 years. And again, this could also be extended by another 20 years. So one nuclear power plant could actually operate for about 100 years. And within about 20 years of investment, you should be able to recoup your capital investment. So the rest of the 80 years, the country will continue to enjoy lower prices because the operational cost of a nuclear power plant are very low. Again, my colleague Engineer Ohaga has talked about the climate resilience of nuclear technology. So we want to ensure that, as our CS and PS will rightfully say, we are building a climate resilient grid. And so we want to bring into the grid technologies that will enhance our future into ensuring that we do not have impact of climate change in our system. Macro level, this is at the local level, the people of Siaya will enjoy a lot of infrastructure development. Nuclear power plant must have very good systems of being able to transfer services and goods into the nuclear power plant, and therefore we will have good roads, good hospitals, enhanced hospitals, because we must be able to manage any radiation aspects and any other illnesses that could come, but not from nuclear power plant. But everywhere that we have gone, the infrastructure within the nuclear power plant is always enhanced, especially because of the supply into the nuclear power plant. Again, job creation. I want to give an example of investing in 1,000 megawatt nuclear power plant, for example. That would require permanent jobs of about 1,200. Those are permanent jobs. And there are so many other indirect jobs that will come from the supply of the nuclear power plant. Nuclear plant owners will live within the area and they'll bring their families. Can you imagine the economic activities that will be generated from that? And so that will present a lot of job opportunities, both directly and indirectly. Emergency and security preparedness for nuclear power plants is super. It is one of the best in the world. And so the infrastructure for security and safety and emergency preparedness for any community that hosts a nuclear power plant will be highly enhanced. And this is infrastructure that can be used for any kind of calamities, not just what would be anticipated. What about housing? I know the government is putting a lot of investment in housing, which is great for all of us. But when this nuclear power plant is built, there will be a lot of requirement for housing. So the people of Siaya, you should be ready to have investments in this kind of infrastructure, because there will be the need for housing, right from construction and throughout the 100 years that I have talked about. So significant opportunities for investment in housing, and this will be high-grade housing projects. As I'm almost coming to an end, I want to talk about the importance of nuclear in coexisting with the ecosystem. This first graph shows the Korbeg nuclear power plant in South Africa. It has a capacity of 1,800 megawatts. But can you see their wild animals? You can see the gazelles and zebras grazing next to the nuclear power plant. We are very proud of our geothermal power plants in Olkaria, because you're also able to see wild animals even when you visit the power plant. And this is what we anticipate. Nuclear plants are able to exist with the ecosystem. Wild animals and people will not be harmed. And you can see the fish, because we are also within an area where fishing is very key. When nuclear power plants dispense the water after cooling, the water is a little warmer, but it is regulated to ensure that it does not affect the ecosystem. But because of the warm temperatures, there's algae that forms within that area, and fish love that. They will go there to feed, and we have seen cases, especially in other international countries that have the nuclear power plants, the fish population around nuclear power plants actually blossom. They increase because of that warmth that provides very good environment for the increase of the fish. And then the enhancement of education through research. We are currently in an educational organization, and JUICE actually has a great opportunity to enhance the research and development because of hosting the nuclear power plant within Siaya. So I just want to show a case of Korea. Korea invested their first nuclear power plant in 1978. Our current GDP per capita for Kenya is about $1,700. Korea in 1978 had a GDP per capita of $1,650. And that was the time they invested in their first nuclear power plant. And as you can see, that was about 6%. I'm not sure you're able to see the numbers, but a lot of studies in Korea have been able to demonstrate that the nuclear power program in Korea has significantly increased the GDP per capita growth. Currently, Korea $140,000 And you can see their GDP per capita is about 34,000. So we have an opportunity in our country to be able to enhance our GDP per capita by being able to invest in nuclear. My very last slide, our CEO did speak about the key success factors for developing the nuclear power program. And this is well demonstrated here. Leadership at the national and local level is very important because there is an issue we must be able to demonstrate to the international community the commitment to the nuclear power program at all levels of government, and this must be consistent. Again, robust and continuous stakeholder engagement. I'm very happy to see the great numbers of the Siaya people here. We need to have a continuous discussion. We will be here to listen to your concerns, to answer your questions, and to be able to demonstrate the great benefit this program presents. Again, adequate program funding and the project funding is critical. We have our principles here, and so as we continue to develop this program,
hiyo basi wacha tukianza nafikiria tu start on my side huko basi hivyo.
And Kenya is expected to follow to the letter. So we want to commit that our nuclear power program is a national approach, and we will ensure that all international requirements are met in the program. And finally, international collaboration and support is very important because this is a program that must be done collaboratively for efficiency and also to learn from those countries that have already gone ahead of us. With that, I want to thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Winnie and Engineer Ohaga. We want to request our CEO to take over, but if you need any more information, please visit www.nuclear.co.ke. You'll get more information about the program from there. Thank you.
Yeah, Your Excellency, I wanted to showcase the great talent that is in UPEA. But I want to assure you that this is just a tip of the iceberg. We have very many Kenyans who have gone to China, Korea, to learn nuclear engineering and how to manage nuclear projects. And currently we can boast of about more than 100, but we need about 300 to be able to run. My predecessor, Engineer Collins Juma, is also another nuclear engineer, and many, many more. Your Excellency, we appreciate that we are short of time, and Waziri has given me clear instructions that we shall organize stakeholder engagement with the people of Siaya and the people of Kenya at large, because a nuclear program, even if it's in one location, you have to engage all the Kenyans. Waziri has given me very clear instructions that we must do proper stakeholder engagement to get the necessary buy-in so that we can have the community understand about the project. So we'll have many, many meetings with the people of Siaya and the people of Kenya to try and explain these issues so that we can demystify nuclear. But to go forward, now I want to invite our chairman, and so that we can catch up with time. Once the chairman has finished, we'll request the Speaker of the Siaya Assembly to come and say hello and recognize the leadership of the Siaya Assembly. And then we'll have the local member of Parliament to come and say hello and recognize his colleagues. And after that, we'll have the Senator of Siaya, Honorable Raila Odinga, to make his remarks, who is also the chair of the Energy Committee in the Senate. And after that, we will give it to the PS, who will take the program from there to introduce the Cabinet Secretary and other officials that will speak after that before the chief guest gives his remarks. Thank you very much. Chairman.
Thank you all very much. My name is Larry Gumbe. The Right Honorable Raila Odinga, our Cabinet Secretary, Opiyo Wandayi, Senator Oburu Oginga, the Chair of Energy in Senate, my colleagues at NUPEA and in the ministry, ladies and gentlemen, I am members of parliament, ladies and gentlemen. I'm delighted to be here today, and I want to express my gratitude to the Siaya County leadership for welcoming us. Let me take this opportunity to recognize the members of the board of NUPEA. Please stand up so that you may be recognized. Yeah, you can see them there. Thank you very much. My colleagues have given very good technical data on nuclear power. But why do we need nuclear energy in Kenya? Let us look at some statistics. Electricity consumption is measured in kilowatt hours per capita. Electricity consumption is also an indicator of the development of a country in the world. The highest country in terms of electricity consumption in the world is Norway at 24,000 kilowatt hours per capita, followed by Qatar at 17,000 kilowatts per capita, followed by the United States at Qatar is 17,000, United States 14,000. All these countries we want to emulate, like Korea, Japan, and so on, the industrialized countries, their consumption is between 3,000 and 7,000 kilowatt hours per capita. In Africa typically, and in Kenya specifically, our consumption is 160. So if we want to be a Vision 2030 country, go there, we need to produce almost 20 times what we are producing at the moment. Therefore, there is scope for producing more power. Hydroelectricity power, we are currently producing about 800 megawatts. I'm told we can produce another maybe 3,000. In geothermal, we are producing about, what, 1,000 something? And we can produce maybe another 4,000. Now, where we want to go is about 60,000. So there's a lot of scope for all energy types in Kenya. Nuclear power, as they say, is very stable. It lasts 100 years, but it's also a base load. The base load is the load is very, very, very stable. If you have solar power, for instance, at night there's no sun, so you are not producing any solar power. Wind is also intermittent. Therefore, there's a lot of scope for that. And at NUPEA, we are very happy and glad to be here, and we are happy the welcome we have got from the Siaya County government, because we will need to work together if we are going to realize this project in terms of stakeholder engagement, in terms of project implementation. So we are very excited that we have got this welcome, and we hope we'll work with the county government. Again, yesterday we had very fruitful engagements with the Jaramogi Oginga Odinga University of Science and Technology, and we know that they are committed. They gave us their commitment, and we hope that we will sign an MOU as a way of developing with them so that we can develop nuclear programs here to develop the human resources my technical colleagues had told you, and also to do research here. So we are excited about that, and I am very excited that we are going to have a keynote address today by the father of nuclear power in Kenya, the Right Honorable Raila Odinga. When he became Minister of Energy, he championed it way back in 2001. When we worked with him in politics, his political party produced a position paper on energy and nuclear power. And then the establishment of the board, which was preceded us, was also his work. So thank you very much, Baba, and we hope that you will convince the political class to give us very strong backing. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, with those few words, it's now my pleasure to invite the Honorable Okode, Speaker, to come and address us and persuade his colleagues.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, the Prime Minister, the Cabinet Secretary, the PS, Senator, the elected leaders, and allow me to write on the protocols established in the interest of time. Today was not a day of speeches for us. Ours was to come here, listen, learn, internalize, then disseminate from a point of information. We have listened, we are internalizing, and will continue to internalize and disseminate. The presenter there before me talked about the success of this program being the positioning of the national and that they extend by county government. Arising from that, allow me just to introduce agencies or arms of the county government, because this collaboration was equally extended to the county government. I have members of the county assembly. There are so many, and I may not mention them by name. I have been guided duly to save on time. At the same time, I want the conveners to know that all wards within the county have been invited. I will therefore be asking you to stand up in groups of 2 sub-counties. And I start. Ugunja and Ugenya MCAs will be upstanding. Will you help me recognize them? Thank you very much for coming. Game and Alego, would you be upstanding for recognition? Thank you very much for coming. We have Bondo and Rarieda. Thank you very much for coming. That group of MCAs includes nominated members who are women, the youth, disabled, and elected leaders. So in your engagement reports, you will not have just consulted the county assembly. You will have consulted that wide range. Siaya County government comprises of the executive, the assembly, and the board. Allow me to introduce members of the County Public Service Board who are here. If you are there, will you be upstanding? Yes, we have Engineer Collins. He's the Pioneer CEO. Thank you. We also have municipalities and the towns. If you are here, members of the board of municipalities, you'll be upstanding. Thank you very much for coming. We have members of the executive. Are you there? We have Kut there. We have all these members of the executive. Will we clap for them? I don't want to go beyond that. Mine is just to give a commitment, Buenos CS, that indeed, as Siaya County government, we have boarded, we are on board. At this point of information imparting, at the point of implementation. And in any case, even if we did not want to board, where Baba is the vision bearer, we are compelled to board. We are on board. Finally, Your Excellency, the governor of this county, great county, is not with us here for reasons that he could not control, and he has asked me, much as he has sent somebody to represent him, to welcome everyone that is here, and he has sent warm greetings to all of you and wishing you good deliberations. Siaya is on board. Thank you.
Your Excellency, the Prime Minister, I want to write on the protocols that were established. And I want to welcome all of you to Bondo. It's a great day, it's a great occasion. Matters nuclear, Your Excellency, are not matters of regular topics. These are topics that are hardly discussed, and many people either shy away from them or simply stay away because sometimes they are too technical to be understood. We are well aware in terms of our energy needs in the country. But some of these things require, and I want to believe that, Nupea, the work is cut out for you. That what you've given us here today is a tip. You are yet to do more. Because for, assuming that you have a site in Bond or somewhere, in a village, for that village, for that community, around where the site is going to be, requires a lot more information and education. A lot more. So as we live here today, I think we need to come up with a very serious program in terms of stepping down this technical stuff to somebody in the village to understand. Somebody in the village to understand. And some of these could be very simple. If you only took the information, there was a slide that Ohanga presented about Africa. If that alone may help in a big way for our people to understand. What I'm trying to say is that if we keep Korea, China, and those different far-off countries for purpose of us understanding what goes on, Africa will be the best for a villager here to understand. Tell us, show us what's happening in South Africa. Show us what's happening in the rest of Africa. Then we'll start getting some confidence. What is critical here is confidence building, because negatives travel much more faster. Information about nuclear, there's a lot of it that is good, but that is good is not known. What is so much out are the negatives. So I want to believe that from here, we start going out to the public, the communities, with not just the issue of advantages, but even understanding what it is and how does it work for our people to understand it. I think that's what I can say at the moment. Let me take that chance now to welcome I think I've also seen former members of parliament in our midst. I've seen Raphael Tuju here. Raphael Tuju is with us here. I've seen our former member of parliament, Murathe. Murathe is here, karibu sana. But for purposes of those, my colleagues from Siaya, let me call on you, maybe say a word or two as you introduce yourself. Let me start with Honorable Otiende.
Your Excellency, the Right Honorable Prime Ministers, all protocols observed. My name is Otiende Molo, the current Member of Parliament for Rarieda. As I understand it, we are here for two reasons. The first is nuclear stakeholder engagement and enlightenment. I think we have been thoroughly enlightened and we will continue engaging. The second is validation and acceptance. And validation and acceptance is so important because there are parts where, like in Kilifi, they have issues because of non-acceptance. In our case, I understand from NUPEA that they've identified a site around Luanda Kotieno. As the elected member of parliament for Rarieda, I can convey that we fully accept, even though we will continue engaging. My only request to NUPEA is the Constitution says that where you are exploiting natural resources, there must be benefit to the community. In this county, our benefit is usually education. Give us scholarships. Let us have nuclear scientists and others from this engagement. Thank you very much.
Christine Ombaka, Dr. Christine Ombaka.
Your Excellency, the Prime Minister, Raila Odinga, and everybody who's here, I just want to say that we are happy with coming here today to listen to what has been presented. Nuclear power. This is a language that is associated with the first world countries. Never heard of it in Africa or in Kenya in particular. And so it's new to us. But the good thing that you have done is that you have brought it to the doorsteps of a nuclear power engineer, Dr. and Engineer Raila Odinga. It's at his doorstep. We always say politically that when Baba tells you it is left, we go left. If it's right, we go right. So you have brought it to the doorsteps of a specialist, somebody whose words we listen to. Lastly, I'm a social scientist, researcher, a teacher and a researcher. In research, especially in social science, there is always the issue of myths and misconception on new things such as nuclear power or other problems that affect the public. Explore the myths and misconceptions that may deter your progress. I think it may be a good progress that you've done, and you have a lot to tell us. The benefits that have been listed here are wonderful. But at the bottom line, education is important to the public, and explore the myths and misconceptions that may make your work a little difficult. Thank you, and God bless.
Honorable David Ochen.
Thank you. We are pressed for time. Prime Minister, sir, protocols observed. Excellency, I believe that science has grown, and science has shown us that the human life and what we can achieve is limitless. We have gone to the moon and back. We now treat cancer like another disease. And I believe that nuclear power will be good for our people. The only thing that I want to request the new pair and all concerned in this, the biggest issue about nuclear is the safety. Once you can assure people that they're going to be safe, they're going to be fine, and Waziri, what you must do in this is that we must develop proper regulatory capacity. You must develop proper standards capacity to ensure that whatever we're going to be doing is regimented to a level where we remove any doubts about what could happen to us and to people in Siaya and the country at large. I look forward to people coming to Siaya to see the first nuclear plant in East Africa as they come to explore the lake. Godspeed, and thank you so much.
Yeah, Honorable Tandi was here, brought his physical apology, and he had to run somewhere. So I want to believe that we are fairly full house as members of parliament from this county. Now, I want to bring on Honorable Dr. Buru. Your Excellency, you know, in as much as we are talking about the negatives, when your foot is forward, and when Waziri Wandayi is, well, fast food is also forward, and Honorable Dr. Buru's feet also forward, I want to believe we can't go wrong. We can't go wrong. Dr. Buru, chairs. Oh, Dr. Buru chairs also Energy Committee. And all that we are talking about here are matters energy. We want to believe we are in safe hands. Dr. Buru, this is the assurance that we need from you, that we are in safe hands, and we want to trust you that we are taking us to a direction that will be important to this country. Elisha has also sent apology. He's been out of the country, but we need to recognize that he's in this. So, asanteni sana, Dr. Buru.
Thank you. Honorable Prime Minister and our Waziri CS, Energy, Wandayi, and all protocols observed. I will also follow the same pattern. And I have two kofias here. One is Senator of Siaya County. The other one is Chairman of Energy Committee of the Senate. And as Senator for Siaya County, I would like to say this is a very welcome project. And I'm talking from the inside because I'm there as the chair, and this is a project which we have welcomed as a committee. Now, as the chair of Energy Committee, I was sent here by a small, just to read to you a small speech on behalf of the Committee of Energy of Parliament. So this is now official, not as senator. Yes. So it is both an honor and a privilege to stand before you as the chairperson of the Senate Committee on Energy and Senator for Siaya County. Indeed, it is a great honor to be part of this historic occasion of the official launch of the nuclear site here in Siaya. Today marks an important milestone in Kenya's journey towards energy security, economic prosperity, and technological advancement. The decision to embark on nuclear energy is not one taken lightly. It is the result of rigorous research, extensive consultations, and a steadfast commitment to securing our nation's energy future. Nuclear energy stands out as safe, efficient, and environmentally responsible source of power. It offers us the unique advantage of generating large quantities of electricity with minimum carbon emission, thereby aligning with our national and international commitment to combat climate change. Nuclear power is reinforced by a legal and regulatory framework, is guided by our national nuclear energy policy of 2022 and informed by rigorous environmental and social assessments. Furthermore, Kenya is currently in phase 2 of the International Atomic Energy Agency milestone approach, demonstrating the commitment to international best practices and safety standards. Nuclear energy stands as a foundation in our national agenda for sustainable development. It offers a reliable, low carbon source of electricity, which is essential for empowering our industries, supporting our digital economy, and meeting the growing demands of our urban and rural communities. By integrating nuclear power into our energy mix, we will reduce our dependence on independent power producers who depend on expensive imported fossil fuels and shield our economy from volatile global energy markets. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to read the whole speech. I'll give a copy to our guest of honor and also to our minister for record purposes. But I just want to conclude by saying that this project is very remarkable, and it is a visionary project. It's a project which was envisioned by our great leader, Honorable Raila Odinga, when he was Minister of Energy, and we, as a Committee of Energy, we support it, and we want the people of Siaya to be fully engaged in the campaigns to have this nuclear project established here. And we would like, personally, I would like to express my frustration that this is pushed to 2034, which is 9 years from now. I don't know whether I will be there, but it is. I wish it was coming a little earlier than that 2034, but be that as it may, science takes its own pace, and we cannot dictate the pace. But I hope if there is more investment, perhaps it could be enhanced and quickened to be implemented much earlier and faster than 2034. With those remarks, I want to thank all of you for listening to me as the chairman of the Energy Committee. Thank you very much.
I didn't realize I was getting back here again, but I'm back for a very simple thing. We are dealing matters energy. We have our PS, State Department for Energy, Alex Wachira. So come over and pick the program from there.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chanda. The Right Honorable Prime Minister, Your Excellency Raila Odinga, my Cabinet Secretary. I hear him when we are around here. I hear you call him intellectual. Intellectual James Wandayi, Senator for Siaya and our chair in the Energy Committee, Dr. Oburu Odinga, members of Parliament present, Speaker of the County Assembly of Siaya, my CEO and chair in NUPEA, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Mine is very simple. It's just to continue with the program from where we are. But before I make remarks, this great county has a governor, and the governor is none other than James Agre Bob Orengo, and I believe our former CEO, Collins Juma. You want to make a few remarks on his behalf? Just a minute before I continue? Kindly. Let us give a round of applause to Collins.
Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga, I stand here on behalf of the governor of the great county of Siaya, who has sent his greetings and apology. He really wanted to be here, but for reasons that he could not control, as the speaker said, he's not able to attend. But he sent me with the following points. First, he said he appreciates the presence of Your Excellency. Secondly, he told me to thank the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum for choosing Siaya through a study to be one of the candidates of the sites of the first nuclear power plant in Kenya. He also sent me to tell you that he was in Vienna a couple of weeks ago on an engagement with the International Atomic Energy Agency, and alongside the governors of Kwale and Kilifi, and they had a fruitful discussion on the benefits of nuclear power. Apart from energy, They discuss issues to do with water. I think it's been mentioned here. Industrial application like in NDT testing, and in health in terms of cancer treatment using the medical isotopes, which are thematic areas that can greatly improve the lives of the people of Siaya. And he said that he got a buy-in, but he said that the confidence level of the common Wananchi is still low, and that should be addressed by Nuclear and the ministry so that we can have a buy-in of everyone, because that's how nuclear works around the world. And lastly, he told me to ask the people of Siaya to listen keenly and ask questions about nuclear and its application. Thank you very much. And I want to add my own. Right Honorable, you'll allow me, we've gone through this journey with you. I get the concerns like Honorable Chanda and David Ochieng have expressed, but I want to say that as the founding Chief Executive Officer of Nuclear Power and Energy Agency, nuclear power energy follows the path of aviation. And I always say that they follow the distribution curve called Poisson distribution curve. The probability of an accident is very, very low. But the impact of that very low probability can be very high. In the current fourth generation reactors being deployed around the world have enough safety measures to mitigate on what has happened before. And I want to urge our people that we embrace the technology and we move forward with the nuclear power program. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Engineer Collins, because what you have done on behalf of our CS is to answer the question that was posed by Honorable David Ochieng in regard to safety of nuclear. I hope that the question is well answered. Your Excellency, the Right Honorable Prime Minister, today is a great honor for me to speak before you. Indeed, speaking before a nuclear scientist, a nuclear engineer, today I am preaching to the converted, I'm preaching to the choir. Your Excellency, let me give you just one simple story. 2 years ago, when Collins was the CEO of nuclear power, we headed to Kilifi, and we had a little bit of challenges and difficulties engaging the good people of Kilifi. But today, ladies and gentlemen, I am feeling very happy because with the Right Honorable Prime Minister, with the leadership of the county of Siaya, we have a buy-in, and so therefore, nuclear power is here with us. Your Excellency, last week on Friday, you did speak to us at the National Convention, the third National Retreat. And during the National Retreat, you did post to us and you told us that we cannot industrialize with 3,000 megawatts. Because that is what we have as build capacity in the country. Today, Your Excellency, we are here to discuss an issue of when. And I like the question that was posed by the Senator for Siaya, Dr. Oburu Odinga. Your Excellency, when we came into the ministry, the issue of nuclear power was posed at 2038. For us to address the issue of industrialization and create opportunities for these young men who are in this university that we are producing year on year, we have to industrialize. And that is why we brought the nuclear power to 2034. And Your Excellency, today, you have challenged us. You have told us that we cannot afford to come to 2034. With your blessings and those blessings of His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto, I believe we can have it in 2032, latest, earliest 2030. As many as of that opinion say aye. As many of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Your Excellency, I want to assure you of only one thing. You gave us a man who is dedicated. We have a lot of work to do to make it possible to ensure that we have nuclear power here, to ensure that nuclear power is not just a dream, the dream that you had in 2001 when you started nuclear power, but we make it a reality. And we want to assure you that we shall not drop the ball. For us is to have only one ask, and the ask is, let us engage in constructive dialogue, open dialogue, let us ask questions, and we shall be there to answer. Last but not least, we have Honorable Otiende Amolo, we have Honorable Sam Matandi. Sam Matandi is our chair, Budget and Appropriation Committee. For us to achieve what we want to achieve, we have to ensure that nuclear power is adequately funded for community engagement. And because we also have Honorable John Badi as our Cabinet Secretary for National Treasury, with Sam Matandi and our own minister, we believe that that is going to be done. Ladies and gentlemen, those few remarks, allow me to now welcome our Cabinet Secretary, Honorable James Opio Wandayi, to come and make his remarks and invite the Right Honorable Prime Minister to address us. Thank you. Karibu sana waziri.
Asante sana Bwana PS. Your Excellency Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga, all protocol observed. First and foremost, allow me, Your Excellency, to thank you very, very sincerely for graciously accepting to be part of this historic event. Your Excellency, when I wrote to you about a week and a half ago, I didn't even call you. I just wrote to you a letter inviting you. Within a matter of 7 or 8 hours, my office called me that the Prime Minister's office has called back and he has accepted to be part of this event. You did not hesitate. And that is a testament to the importance that you attach to this vital program, Your Excellency. And therefore, as a ministry, we remain eternally grateful to you. Indeed, as a government in entirety, we remain very, very grateful to you for your magnanimity. Your Excellency, let me just go through some few notes here in 5 or less than 5 minutes, actually 3 minutes. Your Excellency, the government of the Republic of Kenya, under the leadership of His Excellency, the President, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, is fully committed to the realization of the vision that you share, Your Excellency, of a robust and sustainable energy future for Kenya. Nuclear energy, as has been indicated earlier on, has been identified in the Least Cost Power Development Plan as the essential baseload power source to underpin our industrialization agenda and to deliver on the Vision 2030. Your Excellency, Kenya remains steadfastly committed to implementing its nuclear power program while adhering to the highest possible international standards. Through the committed guidance of the International Atomic Energy Agency, Kenya has made significant and demonstrable steps towards the safe, secure, and sustainable implementation of its first nuclear power plant that I am proud today to say that is going to be situated here in Siaya County. Siaya County, Your Excellency. Today, Kenya is actively progressing through the phase 2 of implementation based on the IAEA milestone approach, aiming to commission the first nuclear power plant now with your guidance by the year 2030. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, allow me, before I invite Baba, to say that the development of a nuclear power plant is a shared national endeavor. It demands foresight, collaboration, and a collective commitment. Let us embrace this opportunity as a people to build a resilient, energy secure, and prosperous Kenya. Let us partner for a sustainable energy future, not just for us, but for generations to come. Your Excellency, it is now my singular honor and distinct privilege to invite you, Prime Minister Raila Odinga, to now deliver your keynote address and to share your insights and vision for this transformative national undertaking. Let us all be upstanding as we usher in Prime Minister Raila Odinga. Asante sana. Karibu.
Thank you. Hiya. You may be seated. Thank you, Waziri. Honorable members of Parliament, members of the Ministry, and all the visitors who have come here. Hamjambo. Hamjambo tena. Yeah, I'm very delighted to have an opportunity to come and talk to you here at the Jaramogi Oginga Odinga University. The minister wrote to me, inviting me to come. And my office told me that let us come here from the minister, inviting you to a conference on nuclear energy in Bondo. I said, confirm immediately that I will come. This is because of the passion with which I actually confront this subject here. And this is because of experiences that I've had before. When I was the Prime Minister, I went to visit France. And then I met with the Minister for Energy and High Seas in Paris, Monsieur Ballot. And during the course of conversations, he told me, you know, Mr. Odinga, Africa is a dark continent. Dark continent? Said, yes, it's a dark continent. You know, I thought we had already left this idea of Africa being dark. He said, no, I will show you that Africa is a dark continent. So then he went and brought something like an atlas, a book, and he opened it. And he showed me, this is the satellite map of Europe, from how New York looked at night from the satellite. And you could see the European city, all lit all over, right from the English Channel through France all the way to Russia. Then he went and opened another page, Africa. This is how what Africa looks like at night from the satellite. Now there's a big contrast. There were some little lights down southern Africa. And then up around Egypt, somewhere there you could see some lights. The rest of the continent was just dark. He said, this is what's happening. Africa is the dark at night. It means that while Europe is busy working at night, Africa is asleep, working in the other direction. No wonder the population is so big in Africa. So I said that this is a challenge, and there is really no response to this rather than to ensure that Africa is lit, that Africa can also be working at night the way Europe is working. That's one of the reasons. But I will talk about my other experience later. I have some notes here that I want to refer to. that I'm pleased to join you today for a discussion on a subject that is extremely critical to the future progress of our country. There can be no doubt that diversifying our energy sources and maintaining a clean environment are critical to our development agenda as a nation. Part of the reason this country has not been able to generate and sustain well-paying jobs is the cost of energy. A number of nations, including here in Africa, have reached the decision that the use of nuclear energy to generate electricity is one of the cornerstones of sustainable development. Remember, there had been kind of resentment of opposition after the Chernobyl accident, but that has actually changed right now. In the age of climate change, nuclear is accepted as one of the clean energy sources that is free of carbon emissions. In fact, the UN has identified nuclear energy and nuclear technology as key to addressing the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. The Kenya Nuclear Power Program that this forum has convened to discuss is therefore in tune with the developments around us. Developing new, clean, and low-carbon energy sources has become a priority for governments across Africa and the world over, and Kenya cannot afford to be left behind. I have had the privilege of serving this country as a Minister for Energy, and I can state without any fear of contradiction that we need to urgently develop additional complementary sources of electricity to meet the future demand projections and to provide a reliable, affordable, and clean energy to actualize the country's development agenda. Back in 2008, the National Social and Economic Council, which I co-chaired with President Kibaki, agreed that as a country, we have to begin investing in technologies that can provide consistent, clean, and sustainable energy to drive our factories, light our homes, and power our innovations. The National Nuclear Power Program was conceived then as an absolute necessity for our nation's industrial takeoff. It is my understanding that since then, and in line with the international best practices, Kenya has been following the International Atomic Energy Agency's guideline on the implementation of the nuclear power program. We commend the IAEA for supporting our quest for a peaceful application of nuclear science and technology as part of our Vision 2030 plans. In its pursuit of nuclear energy goals, I wish to encourage the government to pursue partnerships with the nuclear advanced countries and ensure that our program meets the highest standards of safety, security, and non-proliferation. Such collaborations are vital for capacity building and ensuring that our program benefits from global expertise and oversight. Our program must pay maximum attention to the safety and security of our people, property, and our environment. The program has to adhere to the global standards in every aspect, from construction to decommissioning. It meets international requirements and best practices. Site selection for a nuclear power plant is critical. The identification of Lake Victoria region as a candidate to host for the nuclear power plant is a recognition of its unique strategic advantages. It is important that there is a genuine and detailed engagement with the people, and this is one of them. The leaders and all stakeholders, and have all concerns raised and addressed. And I've seen some of them begin to raise some of the concerns. I therefore urge you all, especially our local leaders and community members, to engage actively in this dialogue. Ask the tough questions, demand clarity by ensuring any concerns you have are addressed, and work with the government and the experts. Let me reiterate that if successfully executed, nuclear power will be a game changer in the socio-economic development of our countries and our counties and the country at large. It represents a monumental step towards energy security, industrialization, and sustainable growth. I just want to tell you people, when I was Minister for Energy, and I suggested that we should go nuclear, I did not expect the kind of reaction. I received a very negative reaction from people who were themselves ignorant. Oh, Raila is talking about bringing nuclear energy here. You want to bring nuclear bombs. You don't want bombs here. We are a peaceful country. I say there's what is called peaceful use of nuclear energy. And this is accepted worldwide. Most countries actually are nuclear. France, for example, has 80% of France nuclear energy is nuclear. And many other countries, there was times when there were accidents, because there was an accident in Japan, remember during how do you call it? And then there was Chernobyl in Russia. But those were the only cases of accidents. And accidents are accidents. Anything can happen. We've seen planes crashing with hundreds of people. So this is an accident like any other accident. But nuclear energy is the safest source of energy. As an engineering student, in 1967, we were taken to a nuclear plant in Germany. And we toured the nuclear plant, and we were taught about everything about nuclear. So that's why I don't fear nuclear, because I've been right into the nuclear reactor itself. And I know that it is safe. The safety measures taken are very high, with high standards. And, but I've also said at that time, I remember one time when I was launching my campaign, I talked of 3 things that will help us to catapult this country to where it should be. I said, number 1, infrastructure. Number 2, infrastructure. Number 3, now energy is one of infrastructures. Infrastructure is not just roads. Infrastructure is many things. Energy is a very important infrastructure. And you look at the development of a country on the basis of how much electricity is being consumed per capita. And ours is very low in this country, indeed. And what are the other sources that we have? There's geothermal, there is hydro, there is solar, there is wind, and that is all. And all of them have got limitations. Solar is coming up, but it's not yet reached where it should reach. And there are times when you don't have enough solar. You need to invest in storage. The wind is periodical, but then thermal is actually polluting and causing the emission of carbons into the environment, which is contributing to global warming. So we have, the only option is nuclear. And right now, for example, our total generation capacity is just about 3,400 megawatts. That is peanuts. When I was a student studying in Germany's city of Magdeburg, which was a heavy industry city, the consumption of power in the city of Magdeburg was higher than the whole of East African countries together, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania. Just one city alone in Europe, you see. So energy is so important. What we are actually generating here is peanuts. But we could have gone much further, faster. Look at a country like Vietnam. Those of you who are alive before 1975 heard of what happened in Vietnam. We were born when the war in Vietnam was going on. And it went on until 1975. Each day there were reports of bombs thrown in Vietnam. Bombs, people thought all the Vietnamese would have been dead. But then the war ended in 1975. Kenya was independent. Vietnam went straight into reconstructing their country and developing their country. Today, Vietnam has overtaken Kenya. The population of Vietnam now is nearly 90 million people. But they generate 70,000 megawatts of power in Vietnam, as we are 3,400. And look at Korea, the same thing. Korea and Kenya are mentioned to the government officers last week. And Ghana were at par in terms of development, industrialization, literacy levels, per capita income, levels of poverty, and so on. But now, 62 years down the road, Vietnam's economy, Korea's economy is more than 40% bigger than that of Kenya. Korea has moved from a third world to a first world. So we are behind. We need to leapfrog. We need to move faster. So it's not just a question of a nuclear plant here. And they've been telling me, they think about 1,000 megawatts, 2,000 megawatts. I'm saying let's just start with 5,000 megawatts. And then also, if you start with 5,000, ensure that there's proper safety. But I've also said they're talking of starting in 1934. There's no reason why we should start in 1934. If we have made a decision now, we begin to order straight away, because it takes time to manufacture. And this manufacturing will be going on, it will take 2 years, maximum 3 years. It will be ready. I've visited a plant in China, in Korea, where they are manufacturing nuclear plants. And you can see you've got an order here from this country, you've got an order from Malaysia, you've got an order from India, you've got an order for this. They're all busy manufacturing. Let there be also an order for Kenya there, so that you can start and aim at Vision 2030. Vision 2030, let us have a plant working. That should be our aim as a country. And I think it can be done. We must say Kenya must be able to chase its peers and reach there. Don't continue to compare Kenya with the worst. That, oh, we are an island of prosperity. in a sea of turmoil. Don't compare yourself with the worst. Compare Kenyans with the best, because they're capable of obtaining the best. They say in the land of the blind, one-eyed man is a king. So that's why Kenya says a king, because all the others are blind. No, don't compare us with failed states. Compare us with the best. You are capable of obtaining the best. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Your Excellency. May we accord His Excellency a standing ovation for those great words of wisdom. Makofi. Moja, mbili, tatu. Asante Baba kwa hekima. May we remain standing for the national anthem of the Republic of Kenya, which will signify the end of our official engagement this afternoon. National anthem. May I request that the rest of us remain seated as His Excellency and his entourage take leave. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for your time. May God's blessings be upon you now and all the days of your life.
People, keep this video somewhere where you can delete. Put it on your email. And play it when you are a refugee somewhere in Somalia. Because Somalia could have stabilized.
And you're saying that is the lucky ones?
Yes,
the refugees.
yes. When destruction comes calling, my friend, you can only be... And I keep saying, I think we've been so peaceful, we've taken it for granted. Many people in power behave like that. They can't see. And they only see the world they want to see, the dictator's trap. And the people around them help them to see only the world they want them to see. And why people like Ruto don't get it right is they don't know the people cheering you on, charging you. We cannot, at ways we crush them. They have their small kingdoms. They want to be billionaires. They want the power. They want people to respect and fear them. When they go somewhere, kila mtu anasimama hata kwa bar. But for that to happen, you must be there, up there, irrespective of what's going on, irregardless, if I may speak like Uhuru.
Yeah.
Gen Z wanna watch the one news. They are way ahead of, by the time TV is giving news, they already know. The danger to mainstream media, the so-called legacy media, is that they have no news to give. People already know before the broadcast. So these kind of things make us come out looking very bad.
A very good day to you and welcome to Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. My name is Jadel Kabiru. I'm here at 1442 Kusini, reminding you that we'll be having an open day here at 1442 Kusini South B Road, on the 28th, that is next Saturday of June. We'll be here. We'll be letting you know about how you can get these beautiful apartments. We're sitting on 5.7 million. You get your 1-bedroom. 2-bedroom come at 7.7 million Kenya shillings. I'm here with Prof. Manyora. We're going to tell you a little bit about 1442 Kusini, these apartments that are here in Nairobi. But I'm here with Prof. Prof, great to see you. How are you doing today?
Thank you. You talk about next Saturday. In Kenya, we say this Saturday.
This Saturday?
Yes.
This Saturday?
Yeah.
So
when you are in England, say next Saturday. When you are in Kenya, say this Saturday.
Because people will think
it's
the other Saturday.
Yes, yes.
So this Saturday, we'll be here at 1442 Kusini. I called you yesterday and I was telling you we'll be coming to record here, and you told me, let's hope we have a country tomorrow.
Yes, yes.
In which stage are we, after we've looked at the scenes of 25th June, in which stage are we when it comes to losing this country? That's why you had that reservation when we were talking about this shoot today.
It's sad because it's a sad, sorry state. And I want to say this from the bottom of my heart. We no longer run the risk of losing our country. We are just heading there now.
Come on.
Yeah. We boarded the bus. We are on the bus. And the bus is hurtling towards destruction. This country, we are losing it. I'm telling you.
You know, we've had these conversations and we talk about police reform.
If you saw yesterday, then you know we are losing this country. We are losing this country. And these people in power, our leaders, those who will be lucky to be somewhere, fugitives or refugees, from there they'll remember the words of Manyora. You had a chance to save your country, but you refused. You became obstinate and you thought you were everything. You allowed impunity to blind you from reality. The truth is, what is going on in this country is not sustainable. And I've said repeatedly, no country can survive with this much anger among the people, with so much pain, with the people willing to sacrifice their lives, with the people making nonsense of death. Both sides are making nonsense of death. The government doesn't care people dying because they die. Yesterday they died.
16.
The Gen Zs are saying they are bidding their families bye-bye.
We've seen you all.
Mother, if you don't see me, you know those kind of, you may think it's a joke about people booking their space at City Mortuary. There's a girl there called one attendant, Mwangangi. This is the psyche. Those are not jokes. That is a national psyche. That's where Kenyans have reached. They have reached a point where nothing matters anymore. And that's why I say, sadly, painfully, this country, we are losing it. People, keep this video somewhere where you can delete. Put it on your email. And play it when you are a refugee somewhere in Somalia. Because Somalia could have stabilized.
And you're saying that's the lucky ones?
Yes,
the refugees.
yes. When destruction comes calling, my friend, you can only be... And I keep saying, I think we've been so peaceful, we've taken it for granted. I've said this, allow me to say, Jad, please, because it is coming from my heart. I taught as a youth in Munzazi Secondary School, Hamisi Sub-County, Vihiga County, as a youth, a young man. On the staff where I was teaching, there was a former minister from Ethiopia. He can't have been there for fun to earn 500, 600, 700 shillings. On that staff, there was Kinyara Palodi, I think, if I remember the name, a Ugandan. People who didn't know where their families were. When hell broke loose, Muguni Ponye, you found yourself in Kenya. There were no telephones those days. There was no mobile phone those days. You have no idea where your wife is, alive or dead. You have no idea where your child or children are, alive or dead. People are joking. I saw refugees when Amin came to power in 1971. I was in high school, I think Form 1 or something like that. I'm an old man. I saw refugees, and I worked in the refugee camp in Kakamega when Amin was overthrown in 1979. I know what I'm talking about. Kenyans, in 1982, when there was the attempted coup, I was in Kakamega. We were young men who used to drink the whole night. Perhaps that's what it means to be young. Wakati tuliambiwa serikali imechukuliwa, Leonard Mambo Mbotela alienda akanyakuliwa kutoka where I used to say in Ngara, yes, and from March to the studio, because his voice would be believed.
Yes.
Just like Norbert Okare was looked for to announce Kenyatta's death, Leonard Mambo was sought, yes, to come and break the news to the country at gunpoint. Nakumbuka one thing, police wakae kama raia. So even as police move with rungus and batons and killing people,
yes,
the statement was from KBC was, ilikuwa VOK I think.
Yes.
Na polisi wakae kama raia. Let me say what I want to say. Ugandan, most women in bus were Ugandans. Those who were serving us in the western part of Kenya, walikuwa Waganda. Nobody, if you didn't employ a Ugandan, you couldn't sell and drink those days. Walianza kutuchekelea sana. Well, sasa mtajua. You, Bond, they used to call me Bond. You have been wondering why a woman who speaks English like me is opening beer for you. Now you'll know. Those Ugandan women who used to serve us, some of them spoke better English than us. There was one, I used to like Crossword Nation. Crossword.
Yeah.
She used to compete with me all the time. Where I miss, she gets. She was opening beer.
Educated from Uganda.
Yes.
From well-paid jobs and, everything.
Yes. Now opening beer. I'm telling Kenyans, muendelee kucheza tu na inchi, you lose ndio mtajua. It will be too late to do anything.
We've seen police officers being beaten up, police stations being burnt down.
Look.
Their vehicles being burnt up. We've seen the office of Kikuyu MP, Kimani Ichung'wah, burnt up. And then you're wondering, are we in that place of anarchy that Raila was actually cautioning us against?
Napoleon Bonaparte. A step between what is normal and what is completely abnormal, ridiculous. It is a very thin line. I've said this many times.
No,
today, when is today?
26th June.
Children are home for midterm, first midterm.
Yes.
We had to close our schools. Even the government had to tell people not to go and work. There's a lady I talked to yesterday. She's a nurse in Nakuru. Even nurses were told not to report. They will be called if there was an emergency. A nurse in a government hospital. Next week, children will be in school. Is that right? Monday, Tuesday. You take your daughter to school? Mommy, let's go. Finish your breakfast. Quick. Good day, daddy. Good day, mommy. Then they jump. You embrace them, carry them shoulder high. In the evening, as that just disappears. It just disappears. That's what it means to lose a country. You are just about to finish your mortgage. I've been paying this thing for the last 20 years. Nonsense. Watu waliwacha nyumba zao Uganda. Kenyans don't seem to know what this thing means.
So
and they are inviting it. Sisi ni wazee. At least mimi sasa. Mimi niko sawa tu. Nyinyi ndio mtaona. Ndio mtajua mjui. And once you destroy a country, it takes for ages to repair what you have damaged. But the problem in Sudan started before I was born. Do I look like I'm a child? In the year 1990-91, we saw big vehicle stouts at Safari Park. We were taking tea there. Those days you could afford these places because there was price control.
Yeah.
We asked, which are these big vehicles? There are so many left and right. We were told the government of Somalia has just been overturned, has been overthrown. That is Shadi Bare, the president. How many years later? 40? 90 to now, it's about 40? 30? 35?
30 something, yes.
Are they okay? Do they have a country?
But you're putting it as if we are collectively
all of us. Yes.
Why are you putting it this way? And Kenyans
for
are saying for Kenya to heal,
all of us.
Ruto must go. This is the
that is the easier one. That is the easier one. Because even if Ruto goes, we will make the same stupid mistakes. And elect the same people. We are not learning anything.
But what is government not learning? Let's just focus on government.
Government, yeah. It's easier, yeah.
It's easier. It
Yeah,
is
yeah.
easier to say.
Because they have the responsibility.
Because there is, squarely on them.
Yes, yes, yes.
What is that thing that they are not learning? Because you saw them in Kilifi, and they're all about people can protest.
Many people in power behave like that. They can't see. And they only see the world they want to see. The dictator's trap. And the people around them help them to see only the world they want them to see. And why people like Ruto don't get it right is they don't know the people cheering you on, charging you. We cannot, at ways we crush them. They have their small kingdoms. They want to be billionaires. They want the power. They want people to respect and fear them. When they go somewhere, kila mtu anasimama hata kwa bar. But for that to happen, you must be there, up there, irrespective of what's going on, irregardless, if I may speak like Uhuru.
Yeah.
So everything of theirs is pegged on your being there. So the longer you are, the better for them. Irregardless, let's call it irregardless.
Of the death.
Yes, of anything. So they want you to hang in there even when it is bad, because the moment you leave, they also crumble. But too bad for any president. For most of these people, life continues as if nothing happens the moment you leave. And an overwhelming number of them, as an annoying number from your perspective, are Ajib. You know Ajib? Any government in power, they just switch.
Desert, go.
Uhuru just saw people leave at Raila. They just saw everybody leave and go to Ruto. If Ruto, something happens to Ruto, 99.999% of those people will just kick the switch to the new person. Yet they are the ones you listen to. And you can't see what you ought to see. What you ought to see is that being president is not everything. That you cannot get presidency or maintain presidency or remain in power at any cost, at all costs, including human life. You have to see, you have to balance. I like good luck Jonathan. He said he could have won the election, re-election, but he could have rolled back to power on human blood. And he said he was not going to do it. He said the president was not that important. There was Mahama, current president of Ghana, when he lost. He said he attributed his loss to the Sudis, to the Ishungwas. And he said it. There's that thing circulating. You can Google it now. Yes. He said he listened to the wrong people and had no time for anybody who could have made him win, who would have helped him run the government proper. He had no time for him. He only had time for these sycophants around you. And that's why he lost. But another point I want to make is that he came back and people elected him. Kennedy Lusaka, no, what do you call it? Kennedy Lusaka. He lost. Didn't he come back?
He came.
Irungu of Laikipia, he lost.
Yes.
Didn't he come back? So what I'm trying to say, if you are in power, it does not matter even if you lose. First, there's a chance you can come back. So you can't do things focusing on the next election as a matter of life and death. Because those who are urging you on can only survive, can only maintain their status, their wealth, their riches, their money and their lifestyles and their power and swaggering and around, moving everybody, saluting them, only when you are in power. So they will tell you, let's get this thing. Hata kama ni kuiba kura tutaiba. It's not necessary. It's not necessary. It's not a matter of life and death.
Maybe you'll tell me whether we can suppress this information that is coming out, because we saw this with Communication Authority. But we're wondering, there's a QR code on your screen right now. You can register to come at 1442 Kusini on Saturday, this Saturday, by scanning that QR code on your screen or going to the comment section or the description. There's a link there so that you can sign up to come and we can talk a little bit about politics and governance, even as you check these apartments that are on your screen, going for 5.7 million Kenya shillings for one bedroom and 7.7 for 2 bedrooms. There's a Kenya Mortgage Refinance Company. They'll be represented here with Cooperative Bank, so you can come and see how you can get these apartments without paying anything, because the Kenya Mortgage Refinance can actually sustain you and actually keep you afloat when you're purchasing these apartments here at 1442 Kusini. We are at South B Sorry Road. Prof, we saw Communication Authority shutting down NTV, KTN,
Those are,
K24.
people laugh at us. You know, people have been stopping me since I said we are monkeys in my show with Richard.
Yes.
We are monkeys in suit. People are really laughing. In the comment section, others are texting me. Some are stopping me. Some are insulting me.
Yes.
But some are agreeing with me. Actually, many are agreeing with me. Those are stupid things. Those are stupid moves. People still watch. So whoever, these young people, do they watch TV? Do you people watch TV?
I was actually streaming on YouTube.
Yeah, so what have they achieved? The people you want to stop from watching don't even need that TV. They don't listen. Which Gen Z listen to radio? At the radio, the mainstream radio, talking about mainstream things. Habari tufikia hivi punde nini nini. Do they listen to such? There must be an interesting Gen Z program on radio. Radio Jambos, nini, Ghost, Mulezi, kama bado yuko. But these other things, news, day one news. Gen Z wanna watch day one news. They are way ahead of, by the time TV is giving news, they already know. The danger to mainstream media, the so-called legacy media, is that they have no news to give. People already know before the broadcast. So these kind of things make us come out looking very bad. We look very bad in the eyes of many people. All the media was here. People were following this thing on CBN, CC, whatever.
CNN, yes.
And CNN was here. Everybody was here. Everybody was here. You saw Larry Madoa.
Yes, yes.
And he was not even alone. The CNN was here. They want to show us killing each other, clobbering each other. You saw, when you switch over, what exactly are you doing?
They went to Limuru.
Yeah, you physically switch off.
ADN off.
Yes, and then those guys stream using YouTube.
Yes.
I went blank when Raila was being sworn in. I was on Citizen TV. Cut blank. They switched off. Then we went on YouTube.
You found the same Citizen.
Yeah. So I was in the studio myself, and blank, switched off. Royal Media went YouTube, and people are watching. In any case, the people are already there in Uhuru Park. So what are you stopping? By the time they are switching off, Uhuru Park was a sea of humanities, as people would say. So what have they done? In a few minutes later or so, Raila was taking the oath. Alikuwa nakula Biblia. Sasa, switching off, what did it help? It only serves to show we are savages. We cannot stand criticism. We can't stand scrutiny. Accountability is alien to us.
So they were just trying to run away from accountability and scrutiny.
And you will not prevent people from knowing what's going on. The danger, however, is the role the legacy media serves. If you see something on X platform, Twitter, whatever it was called, on these funny platforms, even from Cyprian's Nyakundi.
Yes.
If it is a normal human mind, if it is earth shaking, you want to confirm.
Yes.
Where do you go?
Citizen.
So don't give jobs to people. He's from my place who don't know what they are doing. But then it's not them. The guy there is from my place. But I don't blame because it's not him. It was somebody's hand, using his hand to switch off. And him using voice to switch off. But the person behind the thinking that you can switch off can see the danger. You can see the danger.
Yes.
People verify news by going now to the mainstream media. If I see something, hey, I try to look at what other media are relaying it. And the first thing, the ultimate is to switch on your TV. If there's no breaking news and this thing is so big like that, no, it's a lie.
Maybe finally, as we're winding up, do you have any advice left? 16 people dead, over 400, 500 people hospitalized, 60 from last year. protest. 60 died in June 25th last year. Do you have anything left for this government that you say impunity has clouded their head and they are not seeing?
I think
beyond their
Kenyans
noses?
are in love with death. You've seen the way children are talking about death. I think we are in love with death. And I think God will grant you. I'm sorry to say so. During the French Revolution, there was so much death. A book I was reading because I was doing some European history for my A level. There's a line in the book. Is it Peacock? European history, or there was another one by Hall or Husk. There was a line like this: and the dead took revenge on the living by the stench in Paris. Repeat after me. What did I say?
And the dead
took
its revenge
on the
living
by
the stench
that engulfed Paris. That's what we want. We will get it. Mtoto akililia wembe, mpe. Nyinyi mnataka kifo. Mumezoea kifo, kifo imekuwa ni kawaida kwa barabara, accidents ambazo hazina maana, mnacheka tu. Ministers are just swaggering. No control on our roads, no regulations, no enforcement of the laws. People are just dying like chicken, being slaughtered for lunch. Demonstrations that are even just innocent boys running up. You think town would have had people if police didn't come? Then you end up losing lives like that. You are asking for it, you'll be given. It will be granted to you. I don't want to say what happened in Rwanda. Why people don't keep dogs in Rwanda anymore. Go and find out yourself why people don't like dogs in Rwanda.
Assignment,
please, in 30 days.
Yes.
Let Kenyans Google. In 30 days, when Rwandans see you people playing with your country, they cannot believe it. In 30 days, Muna spewing tribalism, hatred. Countries have gone down for less than what is happening in this country. And it takes a very short time to move from what's normal to what is absurd, to what you can't believe.
The line
is so thin, you can't even see it. People think there will be preparation, that here it is, Anak is now coming. Oh, we are about to lose, our country is now go. No, it just goes. Hakuna rehearsal.
You know, when I saw that police officer being beaten up, the woman, that was very dangerous as a country
because now when you stop respecting the police, I can tell you, let anybody come and argue with me. From any quarter, intelligence, police, security, experts, come and argue with me. Whether the police will manage these demonstrators in a couple of demonstrations to come.
Because the reason why I'm saying it's dangerous is because the police cannot handle the situation.
Once that you reach there, you've lost it as a country. There's no country, it's gone. People say bad things about the police. But close your eyes and imagine one day of 24 hours, there is no police. Then you see whether you have a country. And that's where we are headed, because the police cannot manage demonstrations.
And the responsibility of safety is squarely on government.
You see, I was laughing yesterday.
Yes.
At some point, everybody is tired. The demonstrators have been at it the whole day for hours. The police have been at it with those heavy things on the head. Now they are just mixing. They are together. The police are not even chasing the demonstrators. Yes. They are together. When another set of police come, throwing tear gas, they are throwing the tear gas, then the police are with the people. The people are now even talking with the police, just normal chat. It is dangerous. We are courting disaster. I hope the president knows this. The people charged with the responsibility of advising the president, not these crooks around the president. The people we pay big money and put resources at their disposal and accountable. They ought to do what Boynet used to do. Boynet used to reach Moe somehow. And you understand your boss. You know how to relay information to him. Boynet sangina naambia Moe, vijana unajua wajiu. They just hakuna kitu wanaelewa. But I think what they were trying to say, people respect Boynet. Just like they respect General Tonje. a guy can be in power and can reform an institution. So those charged with the responsibility of advising the president, and those we pay, not these cheap fellows around them, they should find a way of conveying to the president the fact that we can destroy our country.
Well, thanks for tuning into that conversation. See you on this Saturday, 28th of June at 1442 Kusini. We talk a little bit about politics as we check out these apartments going for 7.7 million Kenya shillings here at Sore Road, South B, hapa karibu na town. Remember, the responsibility is with government, but communally, we can face trouble if things go haywire. Goodbye for now.
And top of the strategy is to work as if they are not there. Until they feel it.
They come looking for you.
And then they feel, until, that's how Raila works. Until you actually run towards it, do 3 polls. So we do the average. In the first poll, Matiang'i will have almost 65%. In the second poll, it will now get to 70. The third poll is 75. I laugh because even the company, the DP keeps, that's not a front. That's not a formation to go and fight Matiang'i, especially in his homeland. You need more serious people. With a stroke of a pen,
yes,
as the saying goes.
Yeah.
Hi cousins. Hi cousins.
Yeah.
Makuzo mpo. Kwisha, he has demolished that. That one imeisha.
Yeah.
He's no longer a Mulima person.
Yes.
This guy, I tell people, this man is dangerous as a politician. I kept warning Ruto, don't impeach this man. You know, I've been looking at this Ojwang thing, and you see, there is more than meets the eye. So much doesn't make sense. Logic is completely buried in this somewhere. You try to follow, something refuses. Logic inakataa.
Great to see you. Hello there and welcome to Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. My name is Jedel Kabir. It is always a pleasure to have you for conversations on policy and politics here in this beloved country, Kenya. I'm here with Prof. Manyora. Great to see you. How are you doing today?
Wonderful.
I posted a TikTok video where you were saying that can Kalonzo fold his sleeves?
Yes.
You're saying Gachagua has his vest.
Yes.
But on the same video, you talked about Fred Matiang'i as a candidate that Kenyans might want, especially from the mountain region.
Yes.
We've also seen a lot of trips from Deputy President Kithure Kindiki in Kisii land,
yes,
together with the lieutenants from that area,
yes, yes,
the likes of Osoro in that area. And I want to know, I think there are almost 6 trips in Kisii land. I want to know how much of a threat is this Fred Matiang'i? Let's start with that. Why are they going to Kisii?
I think for Matiang'i is more than just a threat. There is this obsession with Matiang'i, of obsession. I don't know whether he scares them. I have not understood. Including the many rumors they create around him. Remember last time?
Yes.
Long before he came into the country, they were saying he was already in the country. And even now, there are many dates of his arrival created by the same people. I think there's an obsession with Matiang'i. You know, they thought with Raila, for example, Kenya Kwanza thought with Raila, already with them, Nyanza, the entire Nyanza region is theirs for the taking. Now, that significant block, Kisii votes, if that block goes away, then it's a big dent in the Nyanza vote basket. That's another reason.
How important is the Kisii vote when it comes to elections, even if you look at 2027? How important will this vote be for either sides?
You know, there are not that many in the manner in which you get Kalenjin, Luhya, and so on. But there are a significant number of votes. And it's not so much just a question of votes. I think it is an attempt to discourage Matiang'i.
You know, you can imagine a situation where if the Omugusi did not embrace him, how difficult it will be to sell him elsewhere.
Okay.
You know, that narrative of cases being few is one of them. But there's also issue of even then, are they supporting him? And that explains why when he made his first appearance after declaring he was the president,
He went straight.
yeah, his opponents were not very happy with the reception he got in Kisii, because that's in Kenyan politics. The home people must own you, then project it to the rest of the country.
Do you think the Kisii nation has owned him?
Of course.
Because there is David Maraga, who people are saying he can actually get some chunk of votes from Kisii.
There is nothing.
Do you think Matiang'i will get 100%, as we are talking about Gachagua can get actually 100%?
Only a mad Kisii will fail to support Matiang'i. I have a few friends. One of them is called Joseph, and I will not say the other name, because people know him. Only a few mad Kisiis.
Is he supporting Matiang'i?
Will fail to support Matiang'i. That one doesn't. Only a few. A handful. But Matiang'i is... Kisii and Matiang'i are one and the same. You know, that's how Kenyan politics works. So the people of home give you their blessing. It's for everybody. Even when you want to run for a parliamentary seat, you talk to your family. Then your village, even your clan, the people in your area, you even invite people and ask them, I'm thinking of this. Or somebody speaks on your behalf. This is our son. Andaka kuingia kwa kiwanja, mnaonaje? What? Yes! So that has worried people about Matiang'i. Because there are many people who thought, Matiang'i is not a, even if... You've heard people say, hata mtu akitaka MCA ispata. They say that about politicians. So they were extending the same argument about Matiang'i. Matiang'i, even if he wanted to be governor, he can't get. Then the guy appears, and the entire community is crazy.
Talking
That really scares them.
his national outlook.
Yes.
Some would wonder if he's going to take Kisii votes,
Yes.
can he actually inherit Raila's bloc? What do you think about that when it comes to Matiang'i? Can he be the person who can take over the opposition as Raila has been doing, getting votes from the Nyanza region in full, coast, and even eastern?
You know what Raila was doing was picking a bit from everywhere. His own vote basket, the Luo vote, wasn't so much different from the Kisii vote. I can't quite have the figures, but you see, if you look at the national population, you get the Kikuyu, the Luya, the Kalenjin, the Luo. You know, Luo are number 4. And then in between there's one, then the Kisii are around there. So the difference is not that much. So Raila will always need to reach out to many other regions to be able to counter the serious block from Mount Kenya. So if Matiang'i will be starting with Mount Kenya and the Kisii, and whoever he will pick as his running mate, you can see he poses a serious threat, especially if Uhuru succeeds to give him the entire Mount Kenya. That'll be game shot. And remember also, when I move around in Western, where I come from, if there's one name that is mentioned more than any other name, it is Matiang'i's name for this election of 2027.
Why do you believe this is the case?
But I'm saying that's what is the case. I don't have to believe. I don't have to believe.
I'm asking, let me rephrase, why do you think this is the case, that it is Matiang'i's name that is popping up?
You know, there are many reasons why, and sometimes even try to find out why people are talking about Matiang'i. It's a very difficult thing. What is it? What is he bringing really? Who is he? It's so difficult to understand why the name had that kind of traction. The main thing was when the Gen Z thing happened, and the Gen Zs were looking for a person to take over the president, it is Matiang'i's name more than anybody's that featured. You know?
Yes.
I think because Gen Zs now are very, 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 very present because of this technology and what have you, and the digital platforms. I think they helped spread Matiang'i's name beyond what he himself would have perhaps done. So that will be one reason. But there's also something about Matiang'i, which is that whenever he went as a minister. He left a mark. People remember Matiang'i in the ICT sector. People remember Matiang'i most notably with exams.
Yeah.
When he was at education. You know, he changed until even universities. I was talking to some investors who are putting up a very serious university. It is told. Because there are no students. Many of the students were there because they were stealing.
Oh.
Today, universities can't get enough numbers because, let me explain this way. A C+ is the minimum you require to enter university in Kenya, whether private or public. Before Matiang'i, you could not go to university, public university with a C+. Not even a B-. It was a B, and at some point it was actually even a B you couldn't. It was B with very good scores.
Yes.
But you could only be sure if you had B+. So those are the students between C+ and B. Those are the students we were teaching as privately sponsored students at the university, for example. We call them parallel, self-sponsored, module 2. Those are the same students, that catchment. Those who have qualified, but JAB, as then was, today is called COOPS. They were not admitted as government sponsored students. There's a big pool of them. So public universities got them as fee-paying students. Private universities got them. When Matiang'i came, hata kupata hiyo C+, ilikuwa shida.
Yes.
So all of a sudden universities are faced with a crisis. They have no students to admit, especially fee-paying students. Like at the University of Nairobi, I used to teach with a microphone in Taifa. Today, you can't even get 10. Private universities are starved of students. So Matiang'i is remembered for that.
Then he went.
That's not something you can ignore if you are a Kenyan.
He went to the Ministry of Internal Security.
Yes.
As the Prime Cabinet Secretary. Then it was the super.
And you see the zeal with which he approached that job.
But then with that job,
people were supposed to be coming when he was chairing cabinet, but under the guise of subcommittee. But basically he was chairing cabinet.
Yes.
And doing the work of the DP. By 7, if you have not come, you can't enter his meeting. That sort of discipline. Those are the things people are remembering.
With that docket, it comes with the question of Yala.
Yes, Yala.
River Yala.
Ruaraka.
People, and even I've just seen a video of Ruto back then. He was saying people were being slaughtered in a container here in Nairobi.
Yes, yes.
And this was all falling on Matiang'i's back.
Yes, yes, yes.
If you say he's someone that Kenyans would actually vote for,
yes, yes, yes.
Kenyans actually want someone who can follow the constitution.
Yes.
How will he deal
There are many things there. First of all, Kenyans are not looking for an angel. That's a fact. Secondly, and that I'll be talking about this on Saturday. When Ruto says he cannot hand over power to people without a plan,
yes,
he's confusing a few things. When the people want to change, it is the change they want to bring about. It's not the quality of that change. Yeah, that's all. Don't bother voters with the quality of the people. Yeah. No, they just want the change. They want to exercise their power to vote and to remove you or bring somebody. Don't confuse those two with equality. No, you can. How many good MPs have lost their seats to useless idiots? You get it. So, yes. so that's one. That's two. Three. In matters of Yala, when we mix politics with very serious issues like security, then we miss the point. Because our way of dealing with River Yala was simply to say it was Uhuru and Matiang'i. So now that is happening, what are we saying? Kware happened. You remember Kware?
Yes.
The death of Albert Ojang in police cells is still fresh with us. And a number of other things have happened. So I think we miss the point all the time we have a crisis, a problem of this magnitude. We should find a way of addressing such issues holistically, instead of cheapening and making them political fodder, you know. So because we made that political fodder, we are with it now. After Ruto, we'll be with it. I don't want to claim to know what happened about River Yala. First, the only thing I know is that human life, sacred. life, human life, taking human life. And I've talked about this repeatedly. And I've told people, you look around at people who have killed, whether they are people you know in your village, in your locality, your estate, within circles where you work, in college, where, just reflect on this. If you know of a person who killed, are they normal? Including those who used to kill when they're in the special branch. How did their lives end? What sort of families do they have? I keep reminding Kenyans, don't kill. So that's what I know is a bad thing. How human beings found themselves in Rivayala, how they are finding themselves in all manner of places even today, including that Kware one, including the Central Police Station and Bagadi. The only thing we can say is the human life is not something to play around. But you know, in Rivayala and elsewhere, we didn't look for the... What I'm trying to say is this. Did we as Kenyans try to look for deep answers? Or we just made it politics? Uhuru anaua watu na kutupa Rivayala. Iko container. Did we go beyond that? If we had gone beyond that and interrogate this thing of Rivayala, perhaps those things would not be happening today. So that now that they are happening, for example, I want to say things that may not be very popular. Is let's try and interrogate these things. You know, I've been looking at this Ojwang thing, and you see there is more than meets the eye. So much doesn't make sense. Logic is completely buried in this somewhere. You try to follow, something refuses. Logic inakataa. Like the people found in the quarry. We must learn to look for the deep answers in issues so that we deal with them and they don't recur.
How should Matiang'i deal with this?
It is up to him.
Because he can decide to sweep it under the rug and not talk about it.
Yeah.
But people will use it for political mileage. It's Junet who says, if you want to play politics, you kill your son. Junet has said that. How should Matiang'i deal with this? Because people will come up.
You know, I believe Matiang'i will have an explanation to give to the people of this country if he finds it necessary. Sometimes you just ignore. Sometimes you can explain. I can theorize, for example, not to defend Matiang'i or anybody, but I can theorize. You know, it's quite common to find bodies in rivers, especially certain parts of rivers. Yeah? Where I come from, there is a place. Whenever somebody has drowned, you hear people talk of experts who know, wakona madawa, wanajua kutafuta maiti kama imepotea. No! It is just simple science. The river vomits dirt in certain points. So those people know, mtu akianguka kwa maji upstream, the most likely place the river will come and release the body is a place here. Either the way the river moves there, or there is whatever it is. That's where bodies will always be found. Hata huko kwetu we know, mtu akidrown, we know where to go and look. Someone drowns when there's heavy rain. The following day, people don't even look around there. They just go mjinga. We call it mjinga. They just go there, and the people that are there, you'll find the man has already removed your body. He's waiting to be paid.
So you should look for ways to explain.
I'm saying things like those happen. Secondly, criminals have a way. There's no honor among thieves. Criminals have a way of killing each other. You know that. You know, when you double cross them, you get money you want to share. They are always revenge people. There are all sorts of killings in any country in the world. Then there are also police killings. There are also issues where police share. You want the story of ukitaka wezi wa wane, uanze kupiga kelele ya Mungu watu wamechukua pesa yangu 50,000 pickpocket. Kumbe it was 5,000. They will kill the one who carried the money. So police work with the criminals. There are some police, we know that, and everybody knows, and the police themselves know. There are police who hire out guns to criminals. So sometimes, police can even kill somebody whose trail is becoming too hot. Atajulikana. And it will lead them to... There are all manner of things that happen. You get it? And then there is overzealous government officers who think they are doing well to protect the president, for example. And they may kill in the name of the president.
And then, of course, regimes also kill people. As Orengo says, governments eat their own children.
Yes.
So it's a whole array of things that could lead to people being found in River Yala when they are dead, floating on the river, wherever it is, which is really sad. So for Matiang'i, he's the one who knows the truth. It's him to share the truth, what he knows, with the people of Kenya.
All right.
Yeah.
Talk to me then about his personality. As I started speaking earlier, the show, I was telling you about, can he fold those sleeves? Talk to me about Matiang'i's personality when it comes to getting in the ring, because some would argue this is his first time. He hasn't run for any elective seat in the country. Does he have what it takes?
You see, there's something that goes for Matiang'i, the ability that he's a worker. That is no doubt about it. When he was at Wamunyoro, asema kama kazi, mahali kuna kazi ndio mimi nakimbia. You could see the reaction. Yes. Poor people believe Matiang'i can work. Number two, he's forceful. He's a bulldozer. And that's the sort of person many people want, especially young people. Because things in this country are so bad that there are those who believe you need somebody who is almost a mad person to change this country. So that makes Matiang'i attractive. And that's why I laugh in the many trips you talked about.
Yes.
With Kindiki going to Kisiland to try and subdue Matiang'i in his homeland. I laugh because even the company the DP keeps, that's not a front. That's not a formation to go and fight Matiang'i, especially in his homeland. You need more serious people. So look at the people he's moving around with. You see? And look at the tactics they are using. It would appear that they also don't know who Matiang'i is and the sort of danger he can pose. You can't approach Matiang'i's home turf with those young fellows, I don't know who, Soro, this other one who is good, Nahijahel, Amazahel, and such. Those are not people you can take to convince the Kisses. And no wonder, in many of those outings, the so-called empowerments, the Kisses just look at them. The attendance has been very poor. The reception has been very poor. Maybe that's why they keep going there, to improve the attendance, which means they don't understand.
Even with this development tours, they bring a lot of goodies.
Akisiman. You know, the Kikuyu will say, let us go and eat the money. But Kisses are very arrogant people. Sama sikuli kwako. You don't feed me. And Nyachai explained it. I see that when Akisiman tells you sikuli kwako, he means it. Because they have enough food. The Kisses are like Ugandans. You may care to know that during all the upheavals in Uganda, they never ran short of food. Even at the worst of moments during Amin's time, when we had government coming and falling at lightning speed, kina Professor Lule, kina Binaisa, and don't know Bote too, Ugandans always continued selling food to Kenya. So that's, you can equate that to Kisses. So there's a way in which there's a reality to that, sikuli kwako, because they have sufficient food. So those are not people you are going to take handouts to. And that's why I laugh at these people. First of all, they don't know they are dealing with a proud community, where Matiang'i comes from. And then they are using really featherweight politicians, almost non-entities. And, you know, I keep telling Kenyan politicians, they should learn from Moi. Moi was a professor of politics. Moi will try to approach a politician. We have heard stories, some of them may not even be true, that when Mudavadi left Kanu and briefly joined the Rainbow with Raila, Saitoti, Kalonzo, and all those people before joining Kibaki, stories are told that Moi just went to Hannah, Mudavadi's mother, ambia yu mtoto tumetoka mbali. You know, those are stories. But it shows you the sort of approach, even with Nyachai. You know, Nyachai parted the way with Moi. And I think we also hear Moi try to reach Nyachai. Nyachai, you know, he's also a very arrogant man, a typical Kissi. So, Moi looked for elders. He also went through Nyachai's mother. I was surprised Lange was still alive. Moi went looking for Nyachai's mother, but not saying I'm looking for Nyachai's mother. No, I'm looking for the wife of Senior Chief Nyandusi. You know, that's
that approach.
I'm looking for her.
So what are you saying basically? Government cannot deal with the Matiang'i wave in Kisiland when they're using this approach. Is this what you're saying?
Approach is not working. And you see your reception is very poor. You don't ask yourself why. The people in Mount Kenya will rush there because you are giving them money. An Omugusi man is a proud man. Sikuli kwako. You know, that's a Kisi man for you.
Yeah.
So other people may say, we don't support this man, but let's go and eat money. Kisi men may not do that.
Let me ask you.
They may leave children, young boys and girls to go.
Inevitably or eventually,
yes.
Do you think Matiang'i will be the flag bearer of the opposition?
It is very tricky. Because, like I've analyzed before, there are ways in which if you look at this thing, it belongs to Kalonzo. And if you are being fair, if you are basing selection on fairness, it's unfair for young people to come, not boys, young people to come and be given instead of, what is his name? Kalonzo. Okay? Then you look at it, Wamunyoro is also so forceful, it's like he's gone all out alone, the rest have collapsed while chasing prey. Wanafukuza swara, watu wameanguka chini, wanahema na yeye ameendelea mpaka ameichukua because he has the stamina. Alafu akileta hapa apatie kisu mtu agawe, sio yeye atagawa. You see again.
Yes.
But there's also what goes for Matiang'i, that if you are to do a survey, if they said we want to be very scientific in who we choose to be the flag bearer, we want to listen to the ground, Matiang'i will carry the day. Because his name is across the country. So there's nobody will compete with him. If they did a survey. You remember even Ruto with Kindiki and they try to vote among themselves, the MPs. Every time Kindiki was winning winning badly. They then reached out. They did some random survey, polling of about I don't know how many thousand people. Unfortunately for Gachagua, it was still coming Kindiki. So if they were to do that sort of selection, basing themselves, they look for like Angela Mbudo, of an info trucks. Tell her, do 3 polls. So we do the average. In the first poll, Matiang'i will have almost 65%. In the second poll, it will now get to 70. The third poll is 75. He will beat them hands down. So, but you can't say that's how they'll do it.
So you can't really tell.
You can't tell, and you can't tell who among them will campaign most for it. Again, it's a question of how you go for it.
Yes.
You see, Gachagua, and I want Kalonzo to listen to this and Matiang'i, because Gachagua had 2 problems. 2. Yes. I was talking to a young man, Bruno, this morning. Gachagua had 2 challenges, 2 hurdles to the president. What a judiciary, impeachment, that won't work.
Yes.
You won't stop Gachagua because that one, anybody banking in Lahadi Mudavadi, anybody banking on stopping Gachagua through the impeachment, forget, that will not work. It would have worked in 2013 to stop Ruto and who?
And
Uhuru. So it will not work. Not with Gachagua. But there are 2 hurdles. Number 1 is Mount Kenya. Gachagua was portrayed as a Mount Kenya person, as a tribalist. And this thing was selling. That narrative was so powerful. I kept wondering, will he manage it? With a stroke of a pen,
yes,
as the saying goes.
Yeah.
Hi cousins. Hi cousins.
Yeah.
Makuzo mpo. Kwisha, he has demolished that. That one imeisha.
Yeah.
He's no longer a Mulima person.
Yes.
This guy, I tell people, this man is dangerous as a politician. I kept warning Ruto, don't impeach this man. This guy is a dangerous card. So the one of Mulima, tribalist imeisha, ameingiza Makuzo. And the guys have not recovered from it. It now remains 1.
Yeah.
The second challenge which remains now is
Somehow, people are so excited with what he's doing. People love him so much for what he's doing. People love what he's doing, the way, one time, the way he's hitting at Ruto. And the way, that's why he was able to bring the mountain together in one mountainous fury against Ruto. And he has sustained it. But in a sort of contradiction, some kind of paradox, there's another word people use, that the same people who love him for doing that don't see him as a presidential candidate. So that the Mount Kenya people are debating between Kalonzo and Matiang'i. And yet the one guy who has done wonders for them, to bring them together, to unite them against Ruto, it's not crossing their mind that that guy can be a president. That is the hurdle that is left after he has dealt with the one of being a tribalist, the one of Mount Kenya. Hiyo akimaliza.
How can Matiang'i utilize this challenge for his advantage? The challenge that people are not seeing Gachagua as a presidential candidate.
That's the challenge he has. There's some of the reasons I'm saying. These guys ought to come to us. We ought to think for them. And I want to tell Kenyan politicians, if you want to play politics the way it was played in 1963, you will never make it. Election is now a science. And you need thinkers around you. If Raila had run his campaign professionally with thinkers, talking of a professional campaign, I'm looking at Jubilee in 2017, 2013.
Yeah.
Professionally run. You get it?
Yes.
I'm looking at Ruto in 2022. A lot of brain power went into his campaign. It's not just that, not just the money, not just the Bible. There was a lot of brain. At current, there was a lot of thinking. Kina Chirchir were not sleeping. Ruto had people whose task was not rallies, was to think through that campaign how they would win.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying necessarily that they won, but
how they would get there.
They are in State House.
How they would get there.
Yes. And they got a lot of votes.
Yes.
Okay? Perhaps not enough to, but they got.
And they got there.
They got there. This particular election, especially for the opposition, beginning with you becoming the flag bearer, requires a lot of thinking. You need men and women who can think on their feet.
Let me finally ask you this, because I asked you about Gachagua last time. Can Matiang'i do it man solo? If he isn't given the ticket by the opposition, can he go out with Uhuru support?
That's part of the thinking. If I was hired, I would look first at the possibility of him being the presidential flag bearer. In other words, what are the chances that those people will support him? If he gave me that task, that's what I will do. I will analyze, look at the trends, look at what's going on, and say, they will give you. So, what do you do to make them give you? You stand a chance. So what do you do to increase that chance? Or if I found that these guys will not give him, I would then quickly tell him, let's pursue a path where you disregard. You know, you can ignore them also. I don't want to say so much because then they will not pay me. This time I want to be paid.
You said that.
And I'm very clear about it.
Yes.
No, this time I want to think for people and work for them. And they want to pay for it. We say, okay, these guys pursuing your president through that team is a waste of time. They are disorganized, for example, or Gachagua is determined to get it, or Kalonzo would not give anybody. So let's ignore. Let's now pursue. Then there is that which you must do. On top of the strategy is to work as if they are not there. Until they feel it.
They come looking for you.
And then they feel, until, that's how Raila works. Until you actually run towards him. That's what Matiang'i would need to do. But he will need to talk to people like Manyora.
Hillman Analytica.
Hillman Analytica. That's why we have that company waiting for them. This time round, we want to work for people professionally.
Thanks for tuning into that conversation. Would you vote for Matiang'i if you see him in that ballot paper? Have yourself a lovely rest of your day.
I can tell you without any shred of doubt that a Gachagua candidates will be lethal. He has what it takes to take on Ruto. Now, if you discount those things I've said,
yes,
and if you take care of the other side of him that I'm going to look at,
yes,
what could stand in the way of him as we move to 2027? If you take care of that, discount that, just remain with Gachagua. Just like they say, women like bad boys.
But where is government?
Girls love bad boys.
Eh.
Yes. You wonder here, you are a nice guy, decent. Girls are not looking at you. They are looking at the bad boys.
The crazy ones.
The crazy ones. Kenyans want a bad man. Actually, right now, I'll tell you for a fact, Kenyans want a mad person. When people must take off the gloves and do bare knuckle, will Kalonzo fold his sleeves and fight Ruto? Will he?
Great to see you. Hello there and welcome to Haman Manyora's YouTube channel. My name is Jedel Kabiru. It's always a pleasure to have you joining us for these conversations to help our leaders in making better policy and political decisions. I'm here with Prof. Manyora. Great to see you. How are you doing
Fine,
today?
thank you, great judge.
The whole of this week I've been called cousin in the comment section by people in town, even as we're talking about Albert Ojwang and the sadness that we have in this country. The opposition is still making moves. We've seen Gachagua transversing different parts of the country from eastern to coastal region. He has called all Kenyans cousins, and this started a conversation in the country, government saying that this is bringing divisiveness in the country. But this cousin statement, why have people embraced it this much?
because it is from Gachagua. He's gifted.
Which gift is this?
He's gifted. He can hit at you nicely using language. Yeah.
There's a viral video of Miguna from, I think, 3 years ago,
yes,
where he said Gachagua is a lethal weapon.
Yes.
And predicting that Ruto does not know the man that he's bringing as
I said it repeatedly when this talk of impeachment started, even the whispers of impeachment. I said, be careful. You are inviting trouble. And they have invited trouble. Gachagua will give them trouble.
He was called the one-term MP.
Yes.
Doesn't know politics.
And remember how I said, what is one term? An MP who has been in parliament for 5 terms cannot compare to Gachagua given his past history. Those special DOs, working close with Michuki, with people like, not Michuki, with people like Uhuru Kenyatta, Pietro, I don't know who, Uhuru and things. Though that journey prepared him. And you cannot compare that to an MP. I said it many times, and I told Ruto,
yes,
be careful what you do. Don't invite trouble. And surely, somebody has just called me this morning telling me, hii Gachagua anapatia kijana yetu tabu sana. Yeah.
What is this thing that Gachagua has?
Shaking the ground. So, one term, before they are done with one term, Kuzo, you don't know what next you'll come up with.
It was all about Mount Kenya before. Yes. And everyone was saying Gachagua is not a leader of the country.
He
doesn't have that country figure.
Then just one word cousin and the country's on fire.
What do you think will be next for Gachagua?
I can't predict. I know he will come up with something. All I know is that he's lethal. Gachagua is lethal. But in my next video, which I've been saying I'll do about Gachagua, I'll try to crack and say this is the only way Gachagua can lose it.
Then from this conversation, does this mean that he's the only person in the opposition that can take on President Ruto as the flag bearer of the opposition?
It is very tricky. For 2 reasons. One of the reasons is, will Gachagua maintain this? And that's the subject of my video that will come. I've been talking about it. I've been scripting it. I rarely script videos. But Gachagua is so central to the 2027 election. I've taken more than 2 months to script a video, to have a script for a video on Gachagua. Whether he will actually become stronger or even remain what he is, or he'll go down. That is the subject of my video, which may come out, I think, now next week. The other reason is
There is something that is not quite, and I've talked about it. People like Gachagua, beginning with the mountain people, they love him, they like him, they like what he's doing. But somehow, he doesn't figure in their imagination as a presidential candidate. They like what he's doing, but they don't then see that as making him a presidential candidate.
Is this what you are seeing too, or is this the observation from the ground?
This is what's on the ground.
From where you sit, how
Yes.
do you see it?
I see it. I know how this country works. I can tell you about what's happening in Western region. I can tell you about coast. I know what happens in this country. Yeah, I'm an observer of the political scene of this country.
So for
I have a
Gachagua-
keen eye, a nose for politics, an ear on the ground. I know what's going on. On the mountain, the people love what Gachagua is doing. And they love the guy. He's a good guy. But somehow, that image of him as a presidential candidate, much less a president, has not formed in the minds of the people. So you find on the mountain, people are talking of Gachagua, of Matiang'i, Kalonzo, but not Gachagua for president. Now, that could remain like that until 2027. But Gachagua being who he is, he must be aware of that.
That they like me, but they don't see me as their president.
Yes, he can do something about it. And then don't forget the narrative that the Mount Kenya people want Ruto out. They are going to look for somebody to do it, not themselves. That this time, they don't want, just like they supported Ruto, they don't want the president this time. They want somebody else to get.
Why do you
And the other narrative is Kikuyu Kalenjin must stop. And the people to stop it are the Kikuyu people. So the Kikuyus are not only staying away from the president in 2027, but they are supporting a non-Kikuyu, a non-Kalenjin. So these things are playing against Gachagua. But who is Gachagua? He can find a way of going around it. And now the other truth is, which is a very serious truth, save for what my video will unravel, the other side of Gachagua, the negative of Gachagua, what may stand in the way of Gachagua. Save for that, I can tell you without any shred of doubt that a Gachagua candidate will be lethal. He has what it takes to take on Ruto. Now, if you discount those things I've said,
yes,
and if you take care of the other side of him that I'm going to look at,
yes,
what could stand in the way of him as we move to 2027? If you take care of that, discount that, just remain with Gachagua. Hey, my friend. Hey, Ruto will have a hard time. Facing Gachagua like this in an election.
Yeah.
With somebody like Natembe as the running mate.
Yes.
This election will be over by 10 o'clock.
Tell me this, what quality do you see in Gachagua?
The same quality that Ruto saw to make him running mate, despite everybody being against it.
Yeah.
Everybody. Ishungu and the rest tried to convince Ruto.
He have 3 votes or 4 votes.
Yes.
Out of 5 votes or something.
They did it like two nights, 2 days. One of them overnight, but the whole night. The night of long knives.
Yes.
In Karen, the DP's residence. Everybody told Ruto, Kindiki. Ruto looked. What Ruto saw in Gachagua is what I'm talking about. He's a really warrior. He's a fighter. And as you can see now, he's gifted when it comes to addressing the crowds. He knows how to charge the crowds.
Let me ask you, what quality are Kenyans looking for?
Right now.
Because we're looking at Kalonzo Musyoka.
Yes.
And government is wooing Kalonzo Musyoka.
Yes.
We're seeing a lot of speeches telling Kalonzo come back, do this. Yes. We have also heard Kalonzo can be paid to go to government. It seems like they want Kalonzo on their side.
Because
what quality do Kenyans want?
Kenyans are looking for a bad man. Just like they say women like bad boys.
But where is government?
Girls love bad boys. Yes. You wonder here, you are a nice guy, decent. Girls are not looking at you. They are looking at the bad boys.
The crazy ones.
The crazy ones. Kenyans want a bad man. Actually, right now, I'll tell you for a fact. Kenyans want a mad person. You cannot change this country if you are not mad. You need a madman to change this country. Kenyans are looking for a bad person. A man who can get crushed and run these people out of town.
Why is government now speaking of Kalonzo and talking about Kalonzo? Why do they try to show Kenyans that Kalonzo is the person that, you know, can easily beat them, and that's why they are calling for him?
You know, there's so much going for Kalonzo, and again, there's so much going against him. First of all, that Kenya people are looking for, that man or woman Kenyans are looking for, is not in Kalonzo. But there's so much else going for Kalonzo, I've said. But when it comes to the mad person, the bad person, the bad guy the Kenyans are looking for, Kalonzo is not there. So it is bad because people may agree on a presidential candidate and want to support him the way they supported Kibaki in 2002. But at some point, it will zero down to the man himself. What is the man bringing to the campaign? What is he bringing to the campaign? Because it could get to a point where it has to be a little nasty. It has to be bad to get Ruto out. And that's why Kenyans have reservations when it comes to Kalonzo. They have reservations. This thing could get to a point where only a bad boy can do it, or a bad girl like Martha Karua. And that's why Matiang'i and Gachagua and Martha Karua and people like Natembeya are left in the room when others are told, get out. Take a walk. Men are discussing one or two things in this house.
Tell me the side of Kalonzo that government wants. Because they are saying, Kalonzo Kuja, you are not in the opposition, you shouldn't be there, you should not... If
they want Kalonzo, in other words, why they wouldn't mind Kalonzo being president or what?
Why they are calling for Kalonzo to join them in government?
Because it's just to dismantle the opposition.
If Kalonzo goes...
And they are preparing for something. They are preparing Kalonzo. In the event the opposition settles for somebody other than Kalonzo, they already have started the wooing. So it will be very easy for him to slide into Kenya Kwanza. So they have started the journey. They can see perhaps, because of the factors I'm trying to bring forward, Kenyans may decide, well, we love Kalonzo, he deserves it, he has been at it for a long time, this is his time. However, when people must take off the gloves and do bare knuckle, will Kalonzo fold his sleeves and fight Ruto? Will he? Then the answer is no, maybe not. Already, Gashagua's sleeves are, he doesn't even have the sleeves.
Yes.
He has a
vest.
Yeah, ready. Yeah, he's
ready.
Yeah.
And Kenyans are looking for a bad boy.
They're looking for a bad boy. Kenyans are looking for a bad boy. That's why, and remember something else. Remember, the contribution we expect from the Gen Zs is a major contribution towards the election of 2027. And the Gen Zs will be looking for somebody who can be a bad boy or who is a bad boy. So a lot is going against Kalonzo. But again, there's so much going for him. Because if you